A lot of Republican senators showing their frustration, ones who did vote for the foreign aid. But Republican Senator Eric Schmitt of Missouri, who is 48, shared his frustrations on the passage of the foreign aid package in the Senate, posting on X, quote, "Nearly every Republican senator under the age of 55 voted no on this America Last bill." He added, "Things are changing, just not fast enough." Then Republican Senator Kevin Cramer of North Dakota, who is 63, fired back, writing, "Youthful naivete is bliss. The wisdom of age may save the West. Reagan may be dead, but his doctrines saved the world during less dangerous times." What do you think, Richard?
You know, it makes the case that we ought to start thinking about making history mandatory in our schools. The idea that somebody could say these things to be so, not blissfully ignorant, it is recklessly ignorant about the lessons of history, that somehow we're immune from consequences. If the United States essentially pulls back from the world, they don't think consequences will happen out there, and sooner or later, the lesson of history is if bad things happen out there, they will come here. We're not immune. There's so much evidence that this kind of isolationism, which is what it is, let's call it what it is. It's isolationism. Yeah. And that the idea that we can insulate ourselves from it is just, it's beyond naive. It's dangerous. And you wait for people to stand up and call it out. And again, the idea that this is happening in the Republican Party. I mean, Joe and I went through this for so many decades. The Republican Party almost defined itself in some ways against the Democratic Party that was often unwilling to do certain things in the world. And whether it was Reagan or both Presidents Bush, whatever, to see the Republican Party in just a couple of years do such a 180 on international responsibility is quite stunning.
Well, and you can look at the individual members that have done this. And it really is. It's Katty Kay to hear, you know, a Republican talk about. I mean, it sounds like Charles Lindbergh. I mean, maybe he was trying to sound a hopeful, a hopeful signal. But all he did was scare the hell out of me and a lot of people. And Senator Cramer, I think, speaks for most of the people in the House. And in the Senate, and a lot of people in the House, and a lot of, actually, most Americans, for God's sake, when he said, we're not just talking about America on the line here, we're talking about saving the West. Saving the West. And again, something probably that they don't teach much about in schools anymore. But he talked about Ronald Reagan, and it was Reagan, and it was Thatcher, and it was Pope John Paul II. And it was a group of others, and, you know, Mika's dad, obviously, and a lot of Cold Warriors that teamed up with people across the West and brought down the wall. And now, I don't know, maybe they're too young to remember what it was like when there was a Soviet Union. But my God, no fear. I mean, Donald Trump embraces the ex-KGB agent, embraces the leader of communist China, embraces the leader of communist North Korea. It really is so bizarre how things have been changed. And now you have these Republicans who are turning in to isolationists who want to support authoritarians.
I mean, maybe they don't even need to be old enough to remember the Cold War. They just need to be able to remember 9/11 and what happened after that day when the world came and knocked so brutally at America's door. It was the world that rallied. The only time that Article 5 of NATO has ever been invoked was when other countries came to America's defense and came to America's aid when America needed it most. So just remember that. But I think we're right. You know, Richard is right. We're entering a kind of weird new world order that was ushered in by populism a decade ago. And around the world, it's not just here in the United States. You see it in parts of Europe, too. You've seen it in Latin America as well. And one of the defining characteristics of that populism is nationalism, is economic nationalism, it's economic protectionism, it's military nationalism, Christian nationalism. And you put that kind of stew together, and I think you get what you're looking at right now in the United States, in America that under MAGA wants to turn away from the rest of the world. But we learned on 9/11 that is not an option. You may want to turn away from the world. The world is not going to turn away from you. It will come knocking at your door again. And that is when you need your allies.
Richard was talking about